Hi, and welcome to SimplyLearnStuff. In this video, we will look at a basic logical function. In this example, we have several months, as well as a budget for those months and the spend for those months. And we want to see if the spend is less than the budget, or we are within budget. You can use a simple if formula by typing the equal sign, IF, and then open bracket to start the if function. The if function tests a logic, and then if that logical test is passed, it will give you a value if true or a value if false, which is determined by yourself. In this example, we can say if the spend is less than the budget, that is our logical test. We separate it with a comma and then choose the value if true. So if the spend is less than the budget, then we can say that yes, it is within the budget. Take note as I type text in the function, I use quotation marks. This is required when you type any type of text into a function. I will then type a comma, and then it requires a value if false. So if this logical test is false, which is the spend being less than the budget, then I can say, no, it is not below or within budget. I will then end the function by a closing bracket and pressing enter. Because 2.9 million is less than 3.1, the logical test is passed, and it displays the value if true, which is yes. You can also invert your logical test. For example, if the budget is greater than the spend, then that means we are within budget. And if the budget is not more than the spend, then that means no, we are not within the budget. If I press enter, it gives me an answer where 2.99 million is more than 2.5 million. Therefore, it's no, not within budget. You can also use other types of text in this formula. For example, if the spend is more than the budget, then the value of true will be it is above budget, or it is below budget if the value is false. As you can see, this displays that it is above the budget. We can also drag this down with the flash fill and have the values and formulas copied downward quite easily. I want you to be also taking note of row number 6. As you can see, the values are identical to each other, yet the function shows that it is below budget. This is because the logical test is failing because it is saying, is the spend more than the budget? In this case, the spend is equal to the budget. Therefore, the logical test is false, and it shows the value that is shown as false, which says below. This can easily be fixed by nesting one if function into another. So you have your first logical test, and then if that test is true, you have the value if true. Then by the value if false, you can have a second if function by typing if, open bracket, and then having a second logical test. The first one is the spend greater than the budget? The second test, for example, can be, is the budget greater than the spend? If that is true, that means that we are below budget. So we will type in the word below. But if that also fails, then the only other logical option would be that it is the same. So we will then have the word the same. we have a closing bracket, and take note, because we now have one function nested inside another one, we have to have two closing brackets, because the first one will close off the inside function and the second will close off the starting function. As you can see, it now fails the first logical test, but it also fails the second logical test and then has the word same in it. This can also be written differently. For example, is the budget and spend equal to each other? And then if that is true, we have the word same. And if it's not above or the same, then it will be below budget. This is one way you can have a nested function and have more than one logical test. However, there is an additional function that does the nesting of the if function for you, and that is the ifs function. So you will start with an equal sign and type IFS, open bracket, and you will notice it has the logical test and only has value if true, but it does not have a value if false. That's because you can then put in multiple logical tests and testing if those logical tests are true. If the first one that is true, it will then accept that logical test and display the value if true. If all of them are false, then the ifs function will give an error. So here you can say, is the budget greater than the spend? If that is true, we are below budget. Is the budget equal to the spend? That will mean that it is the same. Or is the budget less than the spend? And that will mean it is above budget. Because we only have that three logical tests capable of this example, I do not need to enter any additional logical tests. If you have a logical test that is more than three, then you can add in additional logical tests if needed. I'll press enter and it then has the word same, and as you can see, it works well for all the others being above budget or below budget. I trust you enjoyed this video, and remember to like and subscribe.